How long will little daughters continue to get orphaned to Pakistan-sponsored terror? How long will we lose our brave soldiers and civilians to Pakistan-sponsored terror? How should India proceed in dealing with the state sponsor of terror, Pakistan? Will calling of talks with Pakistan defeat Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Lahore Peace Initiative? Or frankly, what peace are we talking about when Pakistan Army Chief is not on board the peace talks with Pakistan and refuses to take visible action against India-centric terror? Let's discuss these issues threadbare. Joining me on the broadcast is Ambassador Skand Tayal, former diplomat, Colonel Anil Kaul, strategic affairs analyst, Colonel RSN Singh, former RAW official, Meher Tarrar, she's a columnist and a very prominent voice for peace in Pakistan. RP Singh represents the BJP on the broadcast. Ambassador Tayal, should the Prime Minister call off talks with Pakistan or continue with talks but only talk terror?
There are three entities in Pakistan which are interconnected, but they have their own policies towards India: civilian government, army and terrorists. Civilian government is the weakest link. Prime Minister has a good equation with Nawaz Sharif. Then it is, if the talks go on, it is okay, but we should have only one point agenda: terrorism, terrorism, terrorism. It may be called comprehensive, composite or whatever, but we'll talk only terrorism.
Okay.
The second point is about the army. Now, this attack on India's army, Air Force base in Pathankot should be treated as a commando attack of Pakistan army over Indian army, and our reports should be accordingly. We should not allow them to hide under this facade that they are non-state actors and their ISI doesn't know. The attack was on an Indian army base. They wanted to destroy the assets of aeroplanes and helicopters.
Yes.
It was inspired, financed and planned by the Pakistan army.
And this should be
treated as such a commando attack on Indian army base in Pathankot.
An act of war. That is how India should treat this. Colonel Kaul, the operation is underway even as you and I speak, Colonel. 5 terrorists are dead. There could be a 6th, and God forbid, there could be more. What do you make of their training, of their tactics, of their fire discipline, their firepower? What do you make of this terror attack?
Gaurav, obviously, I think it's time that we took our fingers out of the pie. The situation does not lend its state to the way we have reacted. I think the whole reaction has been very hedgy. And you just made a long statement before the show about who all met today, everyone met, everyone did this, that and the other. I find that it is an observation that in all this, the armed forces are not even heard of. Even on ground, it is an NSG IG who is controlling the operation. I think the whole thing is a hodgepodge of the whole. And what Ambassador Tayal is saying, I think we should take it as a commando operation, and the reaction should be as we would to a commando operation.
Okay, the reaction should be as it should be to a commando operation. Colonel RSN Singh, the government is convinced that this is Pakistan-sponsored. Weapons, telephone intercepts, intelligence inputs. Can there be any doubt that this is not sponsored by the Pakistan Army and the ISI, and Pakistan comes to the talks table with clean hands?
Absolutely. About 1.5 months back, there was a specific input in one of the newspaper. And by the way, 70 to 80% of intelligence is in the media. You should have the brains to pick it up and analyze. And I correctly remember there was an input that 30 terrorists have congregated in the Sialkot area under their handler called Shaukat Khan. And these terrorists belong to Jaish-e-Mohammed, Hizbul Mujahideen and Lashkar-e-Toiba. And I was very surprised to read about Jaish-e-Mohammed, but now it has been vindicated. But also for God's sake, do not run down your country. Never in the history of India, such a specific intelligence and such preemptive measures have been taken in the past. Let me tell you, you yourself said before the program, your editor said so, that preemptive actions were taken, the NSG was deployed, the shops in Pathankot were asked to close. All actions were taken, and if you take the entire security apparatus of this country,
Yes.
which comprises the border security force, the Indian Army, the NSG,
No, you're
the
spot on.
Garuds and the intelligence
Yes.
establishment, this attack was almost deterred and defeated. The only gaping hole
you
was
are spot
created
on.
by the
They did not
superintendent of the
succeed.
police.
They did not succeed in destroying our aircraft. We've paid a very heavy price. You're spot on, Colonel. We've paid a very heavy price.
Only gaping hole was created by the actions, consciously or subconsciously, by the superintendent of the police.
Punjab police
who
needs to
being
investigate. Yes.
a SP of a border district,
Yes.
had no business to be on a religious jaunt when such a red alert was given.
Okay.
And there are many other
Sir, we'll talk
unanswered
about
questions.
internal
The
security.
road
No,
has
no,
been
no.
very,
Colonel,
very
I'm
suspicious. So
talking on a
please,
much bigger aspect, Colonel. Colonel, stay on the subject. My subject is India, Pakistan. Whatever internal differences we need to sort out, we will sort out. Let's talk about India, Pakistan at this stage, Colonel. After Lahore Meher Tarar, there was a sense of betrayal in India when Kargil war happened. I'm talking about the summer of 1999. There was a sense of betrayal, Meher Tarar, after 26/11. There is a sense of betrayal today. Why is Pakistan not acting as a good neighbor on its own? Why is Pakistan, if it's coming to the talks table with a clean hand, why is it not cracking down on the Jaish-e-Mohammed in Bahawalpur? In your appreciation, Meher Tarar.
Firstly, my deepest condolences for the 7 security personnel who have been killed in the last 3 days. I was just watching your report and I had tears in my eyes because your people look just like our people. Even the way your women cry, I felt as if I was in my village. So for me, there are no ifs and buts about this. It's traced back to Pakistan. If it is traced back to Pakistan, and it is traced back to Pakistan, on cue, Pakistan government must act against it. Pakistan government can't keep postponing the dispensation of justice as far as India-related terror is concerned. I have said it many times. I will say it again. I would say this to anybody. Not that I have any power, but I would say this to anybody. There are no ifs and buts about terror. There cannot be
Meher Tarar,
classification
this is
that
what your
Pakistan-
government also tells us. There are no ifs and buts when it comes to dealing with terror. But those are words, Meher. We don't see action on ground. We have seen absolutely no action in 26/11. We have seen no action in Gurdaspur terror attack. We have seen no action in Udhampur terror attack. We have seen no action against Lashkar-e-Taiba. India has seen no action against Jaish-e-Mohammed. What's the point of engaging with Pakistan when it does not address India-centric terror?
Okay, as far as India is concerned, the main reason why India talks to Pakistan, the main agenda is always terror. So to say that the talks should be postponed or cancelled or there should not be any talks would not make any sense, because India should talk about all the outstanding issues, and India must demand action. I say this as a Pakistani because I would not be able to face myself as a human being if I say that Peshawar massacre was tragic, but what happened in Mumbai was not. I cannot say that the deaths of your people is okay, but the deaths in Pakistan, deaths of Pakistanis are bad. We can't say that. I think a lot has changed since Kargil. Pakistan has seen so much destruction within Pakistan that Pakistanis have finally understood that there is no point trying to justify any act of terrorism.
The people, at least some sane people like you, Meher, may have understood. Your army and your ISI clearly haven't. And RP is saying the Congress has a point. Does the Congress have a point when they say the Prime Minister dropping in at Lahore did not pay the peace dividends, like Vajpayee was stabbed in the back, Kargil after Lahore? Prime Minister Modi has been stabbed in the back by Pakistan with Pathankot after Lahore. Your party refuses to learn its lessons, whether Kargil or Lahore.
Gaurav, is the same Congress which went to Pakistan recently. One of the Congress person went to Congress, Pakistan, and said that Pakistan want to do a peace dialogue and India is not doing a peace dialogue. So let's not talk about Congress, and let's not. I can tell you 10 more things about Congress which they have been saying and which they have not been doing.
Don't tell me about Congress. Tell me why does the BJP not learn its lessons? Betrayal after betrayal. You were betrayed in Kargil. You were betrayed once again when Agra boomerang. You were betrayed when Parliament was attacked. Why does the BJP get betrayed and again and again and again and does not learn its lessons? Including Prime Minister Narendra Modi did a Lahore, and now we've had Pathankot.
Oh, how do you think lesson has not been learned, or how do you think what is the future course of action? But you can't predict that on your channel that what will be the future course of action. Wait for the operation to get over, let things cool down as far as the operation goes, and then probably some strategy or something will be drawn, not on a TV channel. Obviously, there has been National Security Council meeting which has happened, and there are many things to follow after that. Wait for time. But as for saying that initiatives are wrong, initiatives are taken, keeping in mind that there are next door neighbors, we have to take initiatives. But if they don't respond to initiatives, then we'll think about it in other terms. But it's too early to decide on. Operation is still on. Has the operation got over?
Colonel Kaul, are you convinced with this response? Are you convinced with this response that peace initiative had to be taken when there was no visible action from Pakistan on India-centric terror?
Look, Gaurav, I am a firm believer of people on boots on the ground. As what we find that what needs to happen instead of shooting each other off, it may have been the right step at the right time. However, I have made this as a caveat that in Lahore, the presence of the NSA of Pakistan was visibly quite evident. He was not there.
Yes.
Which means that Lahore was not a very happy situation as far as the Pakistani establishment was concerned. If that is so, this was bound to happen. However, considering that it has happened, let us not now think back about and how and where. Let us think of what we can do to stop it from happening again.
Exactly.
Let us take preemptive steps now instead of doing reaction on every step and RSN tom-tomming the government line. I don't see any reason what is so great about this preemption and the SB being made the fall guy.
Okay, so that we'll talk about separately. We'll talk about that offline, and since you've named RSN, I have to get RSN to respond to you.
There is no harm in criticizing yourself.
No, do criticize yourself, but I'm talking about a bigger issue. Sort out your differences within subsequently.
Gentlemen, I can promise you today, I am not looking for any leadership of any party, nor senators.
No, gentlemen, we'll sort out internal differences separately. Gentlemen, a house divided,
Don't accuse me of
always has the enemy taking advantage. Don't do that on my broadcast. That's not on my show. Ambassador Tayyar.
You reject my argument on the merits of the points that I have said instead of making a sweeping statement.
Okay.
That I am top-topping the government.
Gentlemen, we shall sort this
I
out
am not
offline.
going visiting headquarters of political parties for a ticket.
Okay.
For Lok Sabha.
Okay, spot on. We'll talk about that subsequently. Ambassador Tayyar, what should India expect of Pakistan? What demonstrable action is possible? As a diplomat, tell us what is doable. Clearly, we want them to put Hafiz Saeed in jail. We want them to put Jaish-e-Mohammed Masood Azhar in jail. We want them to hand over Dawood Ibrahim to us. What is actually doable? What should we expect which is realistic?
That has been a long on our wish list. Nothing has happened. Nothing is likely to happen. The fact of the matter is that the Pakistani army has been able to mount this so-called proxy attack again and again against India, and there has been no cost to the Pakistani army. So there has to be a cost to the Pakistani army. I was very surprised in all the high-level meetings being held in Delhi.
Yes.
Our army chief of staff is not there. The civilians are discussing. The civilians will not go and give the reports. I am again saying that this attack on the air base in Pathankot should be treated like a commando attack by Pakistan army on Indian army, and Indian army should be allowed to give a calibrated response. Calibrated response, not
Okay.
a full-fledged attack.
No, but before we give a calibrated response, should India not give Pakistan time to take
No.
action against India-centric terror?
No, because several times they have given promises to this government, to earlier government, and tell me, has there been any action? Have they given even the voice samples of the 26th November attack of 2008?
Okay.
And again and again we have asked, and they have not even given those voice samples.
Okay.
I don't trust the
RSN Singh?
Pakistanis at all.
Okay, you don't trust the Pakistanis at all. RSN Singh, can India genuinely expect Pakistan to deliver on India-centric terror, or talking to them is farcical
Never.
because their army chief
Never,
is not on board
never.
talks?
I'll tell you why.
Yes.
I want to pose this question before the country, that why has India been under attack? Is it for territory? Was Mumbai attacked for territory? No, sir, absolutely not. You are under attack, constant attack, unremitting attack, because you belong to a particular religious, socio-cultural set, which is inherently inherently inimical to Pakistan. So this will go on, and the answer to this kind of mindset and this kind of proxy war is proxy war. Remember, the answer to proxy war is proxy war.
Okay,
And anybody,
Meher Tarar, you see the kind of anguish in India. You see the kind of pain in India. Now, you're one of those sane Pakistanis who understands this pain. You understand the pain of the widows. You understand the pain of the daughters, the orphans. But why is it that your country, and especially your military leadership, takes no action against India-centric terror, and your civil society appears to be powerless to tell them to do so?
I'm sorry, I missed the initial part of your question. Repeat the first part. I heard the last bit.
Meher Tarar, why is it that your army takes no action against India-centric terror? Whether it's 2611, Masood Azhar, or, Hafiz Saeed.
Of course they must. As I just said that, you see, for a long time, Pakistan, a great part of Pakistan has always been radicalized against India because of Kashmir. A lot of people believed in the sanctity, in the truth of the freedom fight that was going on in Kashmir as far as Pakistan was concerned. But I think in the last 20 years, a lot has changed. Pakistanis have seen, as I said, Pakistanis have seen so much pain within Pakistan that they realize that these things don't work. This kind of, as you people put it, proxy war is not going to get Pakistan anywhere. Pakistanis have understood that, but you need to understand that just like Pakistani public have this perception regarding India that whatever happens, whatever terrorism takes place in Pakistan emanates from India. I'm not saying it is true, but there are a number of Pakistanis. There's a huge part of our population.
No, but I'm not talking about the population, Meher Tarar. My question is very specific to General Raheel Sharif and to DG ISI. They should know better.
Look, I agree.
Why are they not taking action against India-centric terror if they are coming to the talks table with clean hands? We think they have blood on their hands.
They are very. They keep saying this, that they have been the civilian leadership in this attempt to eradicate terrorism from Pakistan, and nothing can ever happen if all of them don't think and act the same way. I do believe that.
Okay, would Pakistan, in your appreciation, Meher Tarar, I have to take closing comments with all my guests, but would Pakistani establishment be okay if the January 15 talks are only about terror and India giving evidence of Pathankot? In your appreciation.
I think they should be, because as I said that not everything is the same, especially after the Peshawar attack. I don't think they are in a position to compartmentalize things. They cannot say that they're not even going to listen to what the other country is saying. If this is the main point on India's agenda when it talks to Pakistan, of course Pakistan leadership, military or civilian, should pay utmost attention to it. and must do something about it.
Ambassador Tayal, okay, now I want closing comments with all my guests on this aspect. Should talks be only about Pakistan-sponsored terror? Colonel Call, closing comments.
From me or?
Colonel Call first.
Go on, but the talks should not be limited to the foreign secretaries or to the so-called composite or composite dialogues. It should be between the DGMOs and the DG of the BSF and the Rangers, where the talk should take place on specific issues. Like I would also recommend an inner line permit right across the border from Punch to Faridkot. There should be an inner line permit, and secondly, there should be a ban on wearing combat dress.
Yes. Okay, on either sides. Okay, but that is if Pakistan is not complicit. RSN saying, should we talk only terror? Should we not talk at all? Should then guns talk or proxy war for proxy war?
For God's sake, not for the love of the people of Pakistan, for God's sake, not for the love of cricket, for God's sake, not for the love of Bollywood. But definitely what Ambassador Tayal has said, we will only talk terror.
Okay.
And unless circumstances are created where other avenues can be explored, we should talk terror and only terror.
RP is saying, do we have a commitment from the government? There will not be a terror attack, and if there is a terror attack, the perpetrators will pay for it, and it won't just be talking tough, they will be acting tough.
UFA and the parameters of UFA. Terror was the only agenda and top of the agenda.
That UFA did not prevent Pathankot.
I'm not saying so, but if you are saying terror and terror and terror, I was just reminding you UFA in that context, and I'm again saying, whenever talks happen, terror will be on top of the agenda. That should be, although I'm not the spokesman of the government, but terror should be on top of the agenda. That's very clear, because the main crux between India and Pakistan since 47 till now, in all modes and means, have been terror only.
Yes.
So now it has to be on top of the agenda, and till the time we settle this, nothing else should be spoken to them.
Okay, I hope this is the message that India carries to Pakistan, because there is lots that said that everything depends on, there is so much US pressure on India to talk. India should remind the US that the US did not engage with Osama bin Laden. India should remind the US that US did not engage with Saddam Hussein. They bombed Osama bin Laden. They smoked out Saddam Hussein. The British and the French did not engage with the ISIS. They bombed the ISIS. India should put counter pressure on the world, that they should put pressure on Pakistan so that Pakistan stops India-centric terror. I would like to thank all my guests for being a part of this broadcast. We here at India Today will continue to track this story very closely, and perhaps India's policy should be both eyes for an eye and the entire jaw for a tooth, if it takes that to bring peace between India and Pakistan. It's been 40 hours and counting. 2 terrorists. Now, what sources are telling India Today, they are in a densely wooded area and they're firing single shots.